The overall goal of the departments is to serve the community and to deter crime from occurring. However, certain departments find it difficult to reach this goal because of the conflict that they face. However, through more interpersonal conflict disputes, and with the help of the ombudsman, they're able to function and give back to the community more and more. Now moving forward to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, or the CDCR, we're going to look at the history as well. So they were first established in 1885, and they were created with a vision and mission in mind, which was to improve public safety and to promote community reintegration through restorative practices. Their mission was to help those affected by drug abuse and crimes, and to help them become healthy, educated, and rehabilitated members of the community. Just like the LAPD, the department is founded upon different values, in this case 7. They are serving and being responsible to the public, leadership, like being role models by creating an environment that supports wellness and balance, integrity, being professional through fair, honest, and ethical behavior, accountability, accepting responsibility for their actions, respecting others and treating them with courtesy, dignity, and consideration, having trust with them and treating others well with dignity and collaboration, working with stakeholders and partners to seek a mutual understanding. When they created the Office of the Ombudsman, they created it in October 13th, 2017. The CDCR was looked at by Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he saw that it was clear that the department could benefit from adding an ombudsman office to the organization. And from there, he signed the Youth Bill of Rights, which mandated that the Office of the Ombudsman provide services to youth within the Division of Juvenile Justice Facilities. The services that the Ombudsman provide through the bill are consulting with the stakeholders to develop information explaining the Youth Bill of Rights and to make that information available to public and legislators. There are currently 6 ombudsmen, actually there are 7, that was a typo, who work for the CDCR. The standards and duties of the ombudsman are to be independent, impartial, and objective when reviewing complaints. The ombudsman must also ensure 100% confidentiality with their clients due to the sensitive matter of the cases. The ombudsman also approaches the investigation in a very informal way, but it does not change the rules or authority of the CDCR officials. The CDCR Office of the Ombudsman is driven by their mission to provide the clients with a confidential avenue to address their complaints and resolve their issues. Through their website, one can get access to different types of services that they provide. They offer different resources to their clients, such as medical assistance, parole assistance, transfer assistance, and legal assistance. They also provide other online resources, such as the Ombudsman Contact Form, to simplify the process for their employees. Unlike the LAPD, I was not able to get an interview with the CDCR. It was a little bit more difficult. I did contact all 7 of them. I wasn't able to get in contact with them, but from my research on their website, I was able to learn what I was able to learn. So there are some similarities, and in order to compare the similarities, I looked at the USOA Act, which was established in February of 1997, which lays out the principles and expectations that they hold for working ombudsmen and soon to become future ombudsmen. With these guidelines, there are 4 main principles that every ombudsman should know and practice. These include independence, impartiality, confidentiality, and integrity of the review process. These guidelines are practices or standards that the ombudsman within the United States need to incorporate within their practice. The LAPD Office of the Ombudsman is aligned with some of the standards that they uphold, which is confidentiality, as stated earlier. This office also utilizes mediation training and skills in its practice, which by involving mediation also aligns those similar duties and expectations with that of the USOA. These standards that align with them include impartiality and, again, confidentiality. The CDCR also shares some similar values and standards that align with the LAPD and USOA. These also include the independence, impartiality, and objectiveness of the party. This also includes their confidentiality. Both of these offices share an interesting similarity in working with their agencies. Their goals are related to risk management and resolving issues. And so in a way they both share similar visions and goals and their mission. The common values that they share, as well as stated earlier, are serving their clients, representing leadership, demonstrating respect, and giving integrity or portraying integrity. Well, they don't have a lot of shared goals and values as much as I thought they would, but it is good that they do have enough similar ones that demonstrate that they meet the requirements to have a strong foundation for their office to fulfill the mission of an ombudsman. Moving on to the differences, there are a bit more differences between these two offices than I had anticipated. Because these offices fall under a similar family of rehabilitation, corrections, law enforcement, I expected there to be less differences. However, this was not the case. The first main difference between these two offices are the level that they serve, which is that the LAPD serves at more of a local level, and that the CDCR functions more at a state level. While they do kind of seem similar in their office size, I would like to argue that they are not, because the LAPD is a much smaller staff, and that includes their clerks, the 4 of them, versus the CDCR. I would like to give the benefit of the doubt or play devil's advocate that they do have more staff than they show online, because when I interviewed the staff at LAPD, they had a little bit more staff than I had seen on the website. But again, I digress. This was one of the bigger ombudsman offices within the same field or same family that I found online. Moving on, a big key difference between the LAPD and CDCR is the clientele, or their target clientele, and who they serve. The LAPD Office of the Ombudsman is targeted to work with the LAPD staff, and they don't extend their services to the public. However, the LAPD staff are prepared to serve, the CDCR, on the other hand, are tailored to provide a service to people who are out on parole and rehabilitating from a life of drugs or crime. The goal in serving this group of clients is to promote community reintegration and participating in restorative practices, whereas the LAPD, it's more of a way to reduce risk management and allowing the LAPD staff to not be distracted with conflict. And so in that way, they're both different. It's coming from the perspective of the one who enforces the law, which is the target client of the ombudsman for the LAPD, versus the CDCR, who target the clients who have had trouble with the law. While their values did align with that of the USOA Act, there was one specific value that they both shared that contrasted immensely, and that value was confidentiality. As I stated earlier, confidentiality looks very different for both of these offices. For the LAPD Office of the Ombudsman, confidentiality is seen more as a conditional aspect of the investigation. Again, it is something that is partial and not granted completely to the clients, and it can be waived, versus the CDCR that ensures 100% complete confidentiality due to the sensitive information of the background of their clients. Some of the challenges that these offices face in the line of duty, while I can't speak on behalf of the CDCR, but from what I've learned from the LAPD staff, are financial resources. In our class, we've discussed that resources that are needed in order to make sure that an office is functioning is funding. That is a huge one that we use. It is an essential resource that is needed to uphold and strengthen the facilities and the foundation of the office. A lack of funding can create an avalanche effect with the other resources of the office, which can include cutting down the number of staff, cutting down the training and resources needed, and much more. There were some highlights. For example, the CDCR has made efforts to reduce some of these costs or reduce some of these incidents happening, such as, creating online forums. As simple as this innovation might seem, it is one way that we can revolutionize and change the way that the Office of the Ombudsman functions. Finally, to conclude this, one of the observations that I made that influenced my perception of the agency was the target clientele of these offices. In my personal opinion, in this day and age, the LAPD and police officers are not generally viewed as a credible source of trust or safety, especially with what's seen in the media. And so, with that being said, the LAPD staff, being an exclusive client for the Office of Ombudsman for the LAPD, can be a missed opportunity to collaborate with the community. Ombudsmen in the LAPD should aim to give a voice to those in the community that they serve, because they are not given the platform to express themselves. Peace building and conflict resolution between the LAPD and community members would revolutionize the credibility of the LAPD and the staff that is serving the community. The CDCR Office of the Ombudsman, for example, pushes an agenda of peacemaking and restoration for those who have been having or who have had a criminal past. We can see that in the resources that they provide to their clients or that they